Hi everyone. Sorry for the delay, just trying to sort out the stream again. Welcome to the second Sunday celebrity typing live stream. So yes, if you haven't been here before, you haven't seen me do this before, the idea is very simple. I will type any public figure, any historical figure, any celebrity, in exchange for a minimum donation of $20, which can be done through the super chat function. Now, to do the super chat, you should be able to see that option at the bottom of the chat screen. You simply ask to send a super chat, and if that amount is $20 or over, I will type whoever you want it to be, and you include the name of the person you want me to type in that super chat. I should say that when it comes to taking on a new person to type, if I have multiple options, I will prioritize the person who donates the most money, and I'll get to the person who donates the least money later. So, yes, ready to receive any super chats from anyone. In the meantime, I shall wait here and see who decides to make a super chat donation. At the moment, we have one viewer, three viewers now. Do the super chat. You should be able. Oh, let's see what comes through. Ah, thank you very much, Isaac. Asmongold. Right, Asmongold. I shall type Asmongold. Right, let's take a look. First of all, I should share my screen so you can see what I am seeing. All right, can people see my screen? Asmongold. So this is Zach Hoyt, better known as Asmongold, is an American YouTuber, content creator, online streamer, political commentator. So interesting, his content was primarily focused on World of Warcraft, but he's moved into politics as well as video games. It's interesting. Hmm. And yes, it sounds to me as though he's more on the right of center when it comes to his politics. Started initially as a hobby with World of Warcraft, sharing insights, strategies, game knowledge. Okay. What else? So he founded One True King, a streaming content creation organization. And he announced he would step away from leadership roles within the organization in 2025. So quite recently he did that. So his account was suspended for a comment made about survivors displaced by Hurricane Katrina. Goodness. Um, so he was sort of burned for saying things which weren't quite politically correct, I guess. Been described as techno deviant. What does that mean? Being a group of typically involuntary celibate white heterosexual males whose privilege is alleged to displace marginalized communities from the gaming space. Okay. Who's described him as that? Right, okay, it's some sort of academic article. Okay. Um, Okay, so he's part of the anti-woke lot, right? I see. Around he extensively uses the term retard. Okay. So this is someone who, yeah, has potentially offensive language to people. What else can we see? Challenge must to prove himself at level of Captain 97 hardcore mode and part of his exile account. Okay. After which Musk unfollowed him on X, removed a verification check, and posted a screenshot of their private messages. Goodness. Right. Before beginning his streaming career, he worked for the Internal Revenue Service for 2 tax seasons. He had a business degree, was planning to apply to law school, abandoned that plan while taking care of his mother. Hmm. He died after complications. His mother died after complications from advanced COPD. Took a temporary hiatus, understandable. Goodness. So he has no parents, and he's how old is he? No, it doesn't say, but yeah, doesn't seem to be too old. It's a big shame. Let's see what else we can see about him. Hmm. He's 35. Okay. He has a Reddit. Any quotes from him? Not sure if he's big enough to have his own brainy quotes, but we can see. Favorite Asmongold quotes from Reddit. Okay. Any other sites for this? No. Let's take a look. I have a feeling that this stream is not going to be um, as ad friendly as others. Right, it's not serious. That's not a serious set of quotes. Catchphrases updated. Okay. The early days, the rise of the baldy last year or so. Okay, so this I guess it's talking about his evolution over time from being a Twitch streamer focused on gaming to now being someone who, yeah, is far more politically oriented. Okay, let's check some of his videos. Let's see what he's like. Right. Oh, clips of him. That's useful. Let's see this.
Oh, this is a content. Emiro exposed how Mishkif was abusive and controlling her every move during their relationship, where people literally found the exact moment on stream she was talking about. Chatters joined
Okay,
Imiro's stream.
that's not him speaking. So let's see if there's most view clips.
Harry Potter and Deathly Weapons.
Okay, so he shows it his tendency as a Twitch streamer, someone who I guess shares his political opinions, but also is sharing his emotional reactions to things. And he seems to like doing this, which is creating Twitch streams where he's sharing his reactions to things and for people to see them. I can see he's got a flag in the background. There's the American patriotism. Well, a duck as well in the back. Is that a duck or a yellow chick thing? I think I've seen this actually with the wands as guns. It is funny. Right. Let's see if there's any interview with Asmongold. Okay. Right. I spent the day at Asmongold's. Oh, this looks interesting.
That's the circle of one.
This is just him off stream and what he's like as a person. Asmongold's house.
That's a big ass cricket. Wait, is that real?
No,
Oh, I thought that was real.
it's not.
But you have soap. Dude, you're sick.
You want something?
No,
That is filthy.
That one.
That's Asmongold's house. It is nasty. Yeesh.
How long have I been soaking for?
Like a day.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's actually not that bad. And
Just in the pan, you're lying.
Is this the same kitchen you
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? Or is that way smaller than you thought it would be?
Looks like bigger on camera.
So he's a total slob.
Those been soaking for.
They're not soaking.
Oh, okay.
There's no water.
Okay, so if you wanted the fork and knife right now, where would you get it from?
Right here. I have these. Yeah, I have these right here.
That's crazy.
Oh, you've got cream soda? That's your con.
It is.
Those have been there for like.
It's very interesting this because
Oh,
there's one thing being messy, being a slob, but there's another thing being a slob and being okay with people televising going around your house showing how slobby you are. That's a different thing entirely. That means not only is he very messy, well, there's two interpretations. Either he's done this deliberately because he wants to appear very, very messy, or he's very, very messy and he does not care what people think about that. Or he simply does not mind the fact that people know that he's very, very messy. So that's interesting.
What? Brick yogurt too? That's got to be at least like 15, 20 years. Oh, you got your dried blood on top of the ceiling too. Look at all that. See that?
no,
No?
that's not it. That could be.
This guy does not look after his physical space.
My ex-girlfriend left here. Works totally fine. I just don't know what to do with it. These are pillows.
Okay, he's a gamer. He does political streaming, gaming streaming. Messy. He's, and keep in mind, he is,
It's like my room.
okay, at this point in time, would have been, what, like 33?
Well, I actually had to get rid of most things out of the nest.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he's an intuitive type. It strikes me as very clear his introverted sensing is not strong. And also, he's not very focused on how people are perceiving him either.
Why you got all those? You always wear the same damn shirt.
Well, I haven't moved them. Like, what else am I gonna do with them? Like, damn. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't clean anything up, so I figured I'd give you guys the authentic. And then
He figured he'd give you the authentic experience. Okay.
my room. Let's see. I got this desk at Office Max. This is like a bunch of like random stuff I have here. This was a
Now,
whiteboard
an
desk
LIE
with
wouldn't do
a
this.
list of things that I had to do in World of Warcraft. So I got a chair.
An LIE would see the risks
we
in
got the sofa.
showing how messy things are.
We like put it halfway on the car. Same with this one. And then I held it for like 2 miles while I took it back to the house. See, I have this sword. I have like
There's some
10
cool stuff.
blankets here that I kind of just have in a giant pile. I just pretty much pull it all over myself. And then I've got, oh, these are sofa cushions. There's
Got
another
food
sofa
just
that I
stacked
rid of,
up. Yep.
But I kept the cushions because I wanted to be able to make a sofa cushion igloo. I never got enough.
Wants to make a sofa cushion igloo.
I
So-
got Twitch Prime so I can afford it.
Let's see, what else is there?
It's interesting he says, just a quick thing.
1,000 stuff.
It's interesting that he says, I wanted you to have the authentic experience. So that's telling me it's not that he just does not care what people think of him. That tells me that he has decided he is going to show it exactly as it is, and that's the experience he wants you to take from it. At the same time, it's very much cutting against social expectations. It's very much not adjusting to those social expectations. You should, clean, make yourself look good, because otherwise people will judge you or, not want to associate you in some sort of way. So what this is telling me is that his ethics is probably quite stubborn. This is a contrarian trait as opposed to an obstinate trait. And yes, intuitive, definitely intuitive. Most likely not an ethical type in general.
Comes on YouTube. I have 1,000,001. I don't know where the plaque is, but
And yeah, this little pillow comfy fort thing he's talking about could be introverted sensation valuing.
See, I think.
With like
Yeah.
90% filled
I'm not entirely sure yet.
maybe 99.
Well, out of curiosity, why do you have thousands of dollars laying around?
I did that as a visualization. It's fake money. I'm gonna burn a $20 bill every single time I do a 10 hole, just to show how many of them I weigh.
Jesus Christ, I mean,
No, I just opened
No,
it.
that shit's happened like 10 times.
Look.
Yeah, I used to have stuff in there, but then it's like kind of a pain in the ass to take the stuff that was in there.
Yeah.
And
He
put it back
can't
in
be
there.
bothered. He
So,
can't
I
be
decided
bothered to do this stuff.
Nature Valley box you got here?
Yeah.
And I was like, how can anybody eat these without it exploding the dust all over it? And then I see it all over your keyboard.
This is like me if I never met my wife.
Talking about the dead rats. Oh,
Yeah, I threw one
they're
down.
so nice.
There's an area where a dead rat decayed the carpet. I could show you, but that's about it.
Oh, that'd be cool. Is that it right there?
That's something. I think it's something through up there.
Oh
or something.
my God.
So yeah, everything else is there to even look at here.
I'm kind of hungry. You want to cook me something, or
You're gonna do the steaks,
yeah, you want to cook a potato or something?
potato.
Yeah, we lit.
My
Yeah.
friends and I, we used to do
This guy has to have really, really poor introverted sensation. I don't think he doesn't value it. An LIE wouldn't do this. They are, because of their role, extroverted ethics, they would actually get quite stressed about cleaning up and making it look acceptable. He's like, he wants you to have the authentic experience. He wants you to see exactly as it is, which is actually a sign of stubborn extroverted ethics. Even if it could still be valued, but it's like there's an edginess in trying to make it appear exactly as it is.
but I'm not trying to actively throw those things away. You know, it is what it is. I did get steaks and everything. I went to the grocery store yesterday. This is the steaks.
What fat percentage is that?
I don't know.
We're like,
Fuck must eat fat.
my ass, that shit good, bro. That shit good.
Yo, you don't dry off the pan before you put the butter in?
Well, what's the worst case scenario?
I mean, nothing. It'll evaporate, I guess.
Yeah,
I've just never seen it.
Mm.
you want me to put the moth in there?
Alright.
No, I don't think so.
Hey, the roaches.
And
Nice. Black mold.
black mold where?
That shit right there.
Oh no, that's there was a like a possum or something that came in through the light.
Oh yeah, there's a hole in the.
Oh, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do here is we have the two steaks and we'll turn on the burner here. We have 4 people here. Jay, I'll make you a steak as well.
Yeah, my theory right now is that he's an ILE.
Like
I'm not set in that, but that's my impression at the moment.
whenever we ran out of room in the trash can,
This strikes me as an ILE in serious need of an SEI in his life.
this is really what's gonna take the most time.
He also
Setting up
he
all
says
the
parents are deceased as well. But you got to add that in as well. No parental influence telling him his house is an absolute tip.
What do you mean?
It's supposed to like make sound when you put it on.
Exactly, and the sound actually sears it to the pan, which makes it harder to clean, which wastes time.
Yeah, stupid.
Okay, so there's a mind towards efficiency as well, then. With no introverted sensation in it.
Wonder how this hasn't been opened in months. Because it's prepped to where if you open it, shit falls out.
Yep.
I will say, credit where credit's due. This shit smells good.
It does. The potato smells.
That smells stupid good.
We'll do the other 2 steaks after this. Do a little bit more butter. Yeah, that's a drawer full of stuff.
Oh, birthday candles.
Birthday candles, yeah, there's those. We got hammers. Yeah, rubber bands. Incense. probably a bunch of other crazy shit in there. And then I don't know if there's anything in the oven.
Anything else we can see here? That sort of new YouTube design actually looks quite nice. This sort of view.
And we got one more potato after this.
How much views go up and down?
I'll go prepare the table outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way we can eat like a family.
Okay.
Do you want like paper cut?
What did you need that for? You're literally wearing pants. This is pretty much good to go.
What do you need that for? You're literally wearing. You think that's toilet paper?
Streamer, and you're like, oh man, they're probably way different. It's probably just a character. This is crazy to me. This is like Jay, this is fucking crazy. Bro's lived like this for like 30 years, bro. This is insanity. I can like feel his whole life here. Like I can see where people have been. I can understand the stories that happened. It's actually fucking wild. You want to see? Did you see the crater over here? Oh, look at that. What the fuck? Oh, that's a tennis ball. Damn, bro.
This guy never cleans up.
Look at these things. You guess like how long they've been.
And there's
here.
been no one
And
to
then you
tell
come over
him
here,
to
right?
clean up.
You see all the toys, so you'd assume that there's like kids here, and then you realize Asmund's an only child, and these kid toys are just his from like 30 years ago. Look at little tykes, yellow.
Yeah.
Corn. Those were the squirt guns. Him and his
Goodness.
friends. Like you can see a whole man's life in one house.
He said this one's mine.
The top is like a time capsule, but it never changed.
Like we're having a.
It never changes because it never occurs to him to do anything with his space. He just inhabits the space. He doesn't do anything with it. That's very weak introverted sensation. That's also flexible. It's not stubborn. It needs someone else to have a mind towards making it a certain way. And he's not exercising any control over his physical space.
Fun fact about A1, it actually never actually goes bad. It just turns into like wine.
He likes sharing facts. Well, in that example, he does.
That's crazy. That's good as fuck. Really good.
Yeah, she cooks well.
Try that though.
Authentic Asmongold steak.
See that?
So
You know what's crazy though?
he's directed his attention there towards making the steak taste nice.
You want to know what my favorite food in the world is?
Beef jerky.
That's right.
Yep.
Right.
Like it is a little dry, but
It's supposed to be dry.
But it's dry and then the sauce.
Because like if it's
Fix
dry,
it.
that means there's nothing bad, any bad mold or anything like that. It's gonna get through.
It's very efficient. Very practical.
You eat it like that? Or it feels like you're eating beef jerky.
It's like just beef jerky.
I mean, shit, it makes sense. You've refined your recipe for what I'm assuming is over like 10, 12, 13 years.
No, yep.
There's no way some guy's gonna sit there and eat shit for 12 years. That's good as fuck. I mean, I assume not.
There are people that go to Whataburger regularly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I expect
This guy also doesn't cut his hair. It's minimal maintenance of self. But he does seem to like certain sensory experiences. Not a big eater.
It's not a lot of food, but for me, it's perfect.
You ever want me to clean like a room or something?
What?
You want me to like pick up a little bit sometime or not?
For what?
Just in case, you know, see how it feels.
Just don't look at it.
I get why you don't move.
Yeah.
You can tell there's like a lot of stories here.
Every hole in the wall tells a story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of holes.
Look, I ate the whole thing.
Oh, good. Right.
I ate the whole thing.
What do you think?
It was good.
I should see one of his videos him doing stuff. Let's see. What's he doing? He's shoving stuff with his. No, you're gonna slice the ball in. Well, probably not, but okay.
Oh, slippers too? Oh, Darksteel Colossus. That's my buddy's favorite card in the game.
That's the good shit though. I'm telling you, man. If you play Magic and you say, "Oh,
It's got lots of kid stuff, right? I mean, it was his kid's house too. He grew up in his house.
It's be worth like $20," and I'll be like, "I'll give you $20 for the whole thing," and they're like, "Oh, okay, sure."
Let's see one of his videos where he's sort of reacting. What's his main channel?
Like-
Let's see if I find his main channel. See what he Asmon TV. There we go. Popular. The true story of Asmongold, Wrath of the Lich King. Ooh. 4 years ago.
There, and then there's Jeff behind me, and then there's a roach in my bathtub. Bro, dude, Wrath of the Lich King was lit. December 10th, 2008. I like the shirt a lot, and I wear it a lot. What can I say? I finally convinced Cora to server transfer over, and I brought her over with me. You guys don't remember her? Really? And today,
Okay.
I
So
will
again,
begin.
he likes expressing his emotions on camera. He likes sharing those emotional reactions with people.
That day,
Yeah, supporting Eiley.
in 2008, the night that Wrath of the Lich King was released, I had $4 in my name, and I spent 2 of it on a drink. Guys, I had just finished the Burning Crusade. I want to get everybody caught up. That time, I had joined the best guild on the server. That guild I had wanted to be a part of since before I even hit level 60 in Vanilla WoW. I worked my way up through the ranks all throughout Burning Crusade, and I finally landed myself a slot in that guild at the end of the expansion. The guild lost the server first kill. Alliance first, actually, I believe. Server Alliance first kill of Brutalis. We came back that night.
Emotional music.
And I was in that raid. It was
not serious, very light,
that time, I
emotive expression.
Core membership of the guild.
Humor.
And I knew that at that point,
like almost sort of
non-serious
dramatization.
And Wrath of the Lich King. And I fully intended to make that happen. I had joined the best guild, and I was ready, excited, and prepared. I had graduated high school. I was taking one class at community college. The stage was set for greatness. The stage was set for degeneracy. I was living with my mother. I had no girlfriend, no job. I was hardly going to school.
Self-deprecation.
And my life had never been better. I was so happy. And so a young Asmongold on that night at 2 in the morning, I went forward and I took the ship over to Borean Tundra. And you know what? I wasn't alone. Many other people were around with me, and we were all sitting there waiting, ready, excited, and happy for our first chance to go over to Northrend. And I want you to understand something. Many of you guys might not really appreciate this. You might not understand this. But back then, every single player at that time had almost played Warcraft 3. The fact that the Lich King was coming out was monumental. It was massive.
Nothing.
It was the
this is all extroverted ethics. This isn't factual. This is how you felt about the moment, that update to the game, and what it meant to him and other people around him. So he's focusing on that at least in this intro. It's not dry.
That everybody was waiting for.
See what else he does.
Dudes being guys, guys being dudes. And I finally entered after I got enough gear. I entered with my 25-man raid. And for the first time, one fateful night.
He's just speaking and speaking and speaking. Is it a 3-hour story?
It's like 8 cars or something like that. It was just
he's not playing the game.
It was so fucking amazing. He's
just telling this story with World of Warcraft music.
This was the pinnacle.
He could speak for a long time.
It's an aftermath.
He could speak for a long. Goodness gracious. Okay. What's this? Okay, this is more recent. This is his reaction to Candace Owens. Let's see what's happening here.
To just take a breather and really process everything that happened with Charlie and what it kind of means in terms of where we are. And I think it is a circumstance where we just know. We just know that he was truly betrayed in one of the most egregious ways that I think I've ever seen. It has made me lose faith in politics. It has made me fully lose faith in Trump. And my heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics. And
What's she talking about?
we're like, nope, that is it. And it serves us or it doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday, bro. If they try to give me a holiday, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock it off. Like, they're gonna get Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking boulevard. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. It's the Fed signature. It's how they sign off after they murder you. So like holiday and a boulevard, and it's never on the nice side of town either.
Yeah, he plays a video and he reacts. You see his reaction.
I will be back on the 27th, you guys. Thank you guys for all the support throughout these couple of days, these last really kind of 6 weeks since Charlie died. And we will see you guys then.
She is really she's really been on one, huh? Like
on it, because I'm telling you, I don't even think people are human. Like I look at Elon Musk and Sam.
Over the top emotion.
Altman and leading people into AI. I have always sensed this demonic, because I'm telling you, I don't even think people are human. Like I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean?
Meta.
Like,
I'm reacting to a guy reacting to Candace Owens.
Download at night, you know, like my phone's getting an update or something.
Yeah.
It's
Over the top emotionality. Okay.
I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed. You know, I'm not going to stab them, but I don't know if they bleed all the way. I think a battery would fall out. You know what I mean?
It's that face.
And I just get that sense.
It's almost like Jim. It's almost Jim Carrey emotional expressions going on here.
Book. They are using science and this idea of
what's he gonna say though?
Bad are telling us that they does not.
this was the beginning of the end right here.
But
Somebody is laughing in the background.
Droid, obviously.
Even they realize this shit's crazy.
Back on Monday, full steam ahead. Just for if you are, do you attend the mass?
I do.
Like
Watch another one just to see if that's consistent. Halo campaign involved these people. Do this one.
It's another day that ends with Y on Twitter, which means that a lot of people are unhappy with me. Asmon fan here. I spent 12 hours on fan art of him only for him to shit on it and completely, and McConnell had to step in and tell him to chill and thank me. This man has given zero fucks about his community for years before he went down the MAGA content hole. So this is a person, this is a tweet that has 9,000 likes, and this is the image that he made. This is the fan art that he made of me. I hurt his feelings. I did all these terrible things to him and all of that. Well, guess what my mods found? We found the actual video. Fucking forehead. Like, my forehead's half my face. Like, I don't even know what to say, guys. You guys are fucking insane with this. Man, I look like an idiot. like I look like a fucking idiot. And like, what is this? This dreadnought armor? And like, look at that mace. That's not demise. That's
this is my reaction to his reaction to his reaction to Samart. This is getting too meta.
Fireplace sleeper. This is supposed to be the might of Minithil. Yeah. How is this, man? God damn.
Wait, you don't like it?
The toilet cleaner. Well, it's just the weapons are so small. Like I want.
Okay, so you don't like fan art of me?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
I like
it,
but I want the weapons to be bigger. Okay, I don't feel. I don't feel.
I mean, it is terrible art. It is terrible. That is terrible. But it's interesting. he reacts to it in a slightly over the top way, as he reacts to everything in an over the top way, because that's his style, and that upset that person, and he's not going to apologize for that. His ethics is stubborn. There is stubborn ethics here. He's definitely a contrarian type. I think he still values extrovert ethics. There's so much of it in in what he does in a very sort of light, non-serious way. I think he's got to be Eiley. I don't think there's any other type he could be at this point. Yeah. There's no sign of introverted ethics. Well, Isaac is saying, yeah, there's extrovert. This is mobilizing extroverted ethics right here, and yeah, it's clearly upset someone, and he's just going to double down. He's not going to. It's going to be hard to him to accept that he's offended someone's personal sensibilities, and that the right thing to do is just to show contrition. Yada yada. I do this. When they get caught out in less than the best behavior, they double down on that because for them they don't want how they express themselves and its effect on others to be decided by others, to be decided on how you're meant to do that, how you're not meant to do that. So they'll go to logical justification instead of why they can express themselves in the way which they want to express themselves. Whereas, yeah, an LIE would just apologize. Even if they don't particularly necessarily mean it, they think it's dumb, they still apologize because they are adaptive to the social environment. And the introverted ethics would at least tell them, at least the good thing is still to apologize, even if, yeah. Okay. So that's Asmongold. It sounds to me like Isaac agrees that Eiley makes the most sense for him. Oh, Chris says, am I a mod? Yes, Chris, you're a mod. But don't worry, you can go to sleep. I can find someone else to be a mod. Maybe I'll make Holly a mod. Let's make Holly a mod. Why not? Add as moderator. There we go. There we go. Holly, you're a mod. Good. All right. Let's see. Okay, who's the next person? Brandon Sanderson. He's an I but is he the guy who wrote all those books? I think I know who you're talking about, Brandon Sanderson. Let's take a look at Brandon Sanderson. Good idea. Oh, okay. This guy. Yeah, he is. He has written books. Now, I think I heard something that has very sort of complex systems of magic. Am I right in saying that? Brandon Wynne Sanderson. So he's an American author, high fantasy. Thank you for the donation, Holly, as well. Greatly appreciate that. Um, So yes, American author of high fantasy, science fiction, and young adult books. Is best known for the Cosmere fictional universe in which most of his fantasy novels, so Mistborn series and Stormlight Archive are set. Outside of the Cosmere, has written several young adult and juvenile series, the Reckoners Skyward series and the Alcatraz series. He also known for finishing. Interesting. I haven't known of many authors who finished someone else's work, but he finished Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. I've heard of Wheel of Time. Two graphic novels as well. Here we go. Sanderson's Laws of Magic and popularized the idea of hard magic versus soft magic systems. I think this is very interesting. So the idea of building a system of magic, I think I know what this is about as well. But soft magic is where the magic appears to serve the plot and drive the characters forward. There's not much seriousness in terms of how the magic actually works. Whereas with hard magic, it is a system. It is almost like a fake science. They put together rules and laws in terms of how this magic works. Maybe there's a language behind it, or certain rules in terms of how it's allowed to work. Also, if people seen Full Metal Alchemist, that's a good idea. Sorry, that's a good example of hard magic with sort of a law of exchange taking place in it. So yeah, Brandon Sanderson's um, Laws of Magic would be examples of this. So what it says here, express a distinction in soft and hard magic, purpose of world building. And yeah, it's a more of a spectrum rather than absolute. Fine. So yeah, clearly defined rules and limitations are what make a hard magic system. So this suggests to me that introverted logic is playing quite a key role in how Sanderson writes. Three laws, okay. Author's ability to solve conflict with magic is directly proportional to how well the reader understands said magic. Right. That makes sense. So the idea is that if you have to bring the reader along on the journey of a magic system for the magic used to not feel like a Deus Ex Machina. It does not feel cheated by the magic, I guess. Weaknesses, limits, and costs are more interesting than powers. Yeah, yeah, if you take Superman, for instance, he can do anything he wants. Eventually, it's no longer that interesting. You have to make Superman interesting. You have to create limitations, and depends on how cheap those limitations are. If it's just kryptonite the whole time, it doesn't work. The author should expand on what is already a part of the magic system before something entirely new is added. Yes, as may otherwise entirely change how magic system fits into the fictional world. This, I think, is also an introverted logic tendency. That okay, you're adding something new. Does it fit with everything else and all the ramifications of what you already set out as the magical system? The zeroth law. Always err on the side of what's awesome. Well, that's probably the extroverted ethics coming in here. An extroverted intuition, perhaps. I don't know. Yeah, I can see why Holly suggested Eiley for him. I think that is, but I need to see more right now. I do need to see more before I reach a conclusion on this type. Um, Personal life. Els of four children. He was a reluctant reader. Became passionate reader of fantasy in his teens after a teacher gave him a copy of Dragonsbane. Several early attempts at writing. He was a biochemistry major. He served as a Mormon missionary. Cool. Took a job as a night auditor and to write while working. And changed major to English literature. Okay, so he started with sciences and moved towards the writing. Okay. Wrote consistently through his undergraduate and graduate studies. He's written 12 novels, so he writes quite a lot. So he rose to prominence in 2007, and the wife of Robert entrusted him to complete the final books. Because she was far deeply impressed by his Mistborn novel. Okay. Right. So what I'd like to do here is look into his themes of writing. Oh, this is interesting. So he teaches as well. Teaches creative writing course once per year. Okay, he likes to share his knowledge. He's not just a recluse. Okay. Let's see what some of the themes you can pick out are. Oh, suppose themes of responsibility, honor, and redemption. Often recount who are flawed and grapple with difficult circumstances like mental health and survivor's guilt. Also examines faith. Well, faith is very important to him. He was a Mormon missionary, contrasting them with the science of his magic systems and portraying organized religion as potentially corrupt or manipulative. Is an escalation of conflict like plot character. Well, that's also quite standard in writing. You do that. Authentic portrayal of mental health challenges. So there's a good exploration of character, but also systems in it. Complex morality. Not all members of an opposing group are entirely bad, showing oppression can be complicated. Oh yeah, there's more nuance in his writing then. Yes, but no and. Technique is used to escalate conflict where characters attempt to solve problems leads to new complications or fail to make things even worse. Fail makes things even worse. Okay. Force character growth from failure rather than just a chain of events. Often there's a mystery, particularly concerning the world's magic system. The act of discovery become a major part of the narrative arc. Okay. I can see where extrovert intuition can be coming in here as well. The idea of opening up and discovering more about a world and building a picture more and more, perhaps. Let's see an interview of him. I want to see what he's like. Hey, let's look at his quotes first. Let's look at his quotes. Oh, apparently there are lectures. Okay, I'll take a look. Quotes by Brands. Now, the thing is, with writers, sometimes it's quotes just straight out of the book, which isn't quite what I like. Let's take a look. Yeah, taking the book. I talk so much for failing no fast stupid that way. You can't. Yeah, that's the problem. Some I do authors, I can't work with these quotes because they're not from him, but from him through a character, which isn't ideal. Oh, hang on. This is more him speaking as him. Life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. Doesn't that sort of contradict what we said before about limitations and constraints? Personal storytelling is not to tell you how to think, but to give you questions to think upon. All right. Well, a bit more extrovert intuition there again. An important step a man can take. It's not the first one, is it? It's the next one. Always the next. Okay, no, that's a character. That's definitely speaking as a character. I probably should steer clear of the quotes, to be fair, because he's an author. No, this is fine, actually. When I write my books, actually, I'm known for very logical, rule-based magical systems, right? With one foot in fantasy, one foot in science. Yeah. Okay, there's the introverted logic. I take 2 hours off for my family every day, and then I write 14 hours. Well, okay. So he's got balance in his life. He's got a family. Well, that makes sense. He's a Mormon. He would have that balanced aspect of life. When he writes 14 hours, he gets into the trance of doing it. Okay, and focuses for a long period of time. And I do research, casting it very widely, and then snatch what feels right out of that. What feels right out of that. Occasionally, I'll read a specific book for a specific book, but usually I'm trying to increase my general understanding. Breadth. Breadth of understanding. Um, yeah, so more likely to be an energizer type. Not certain on that yet. We'll have to see. My job is not to save all the time, to fix the real time, anything like that. My job is not to screw it up. There's some humility there. Fanny has some problems with being too repetitive, in my opinion. So he uses some self-deprecating humor as well, and sort of not screwing it up. I try to read what other people are doing and say, how can I add to this rather than just recycle it? Repetitive. How can I stand on the talking shoulder rather than stand tied to his kneecaps? He loves to do what he does, so he works long hours. Yeah. He's a nerdy kid, got to college, all vanished. All of his good friends when we were in high school, they've never been able to hang out together because in such different cliques or whatever. Now who cares? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So like breaking down of cliques, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. All sort of divisions between people. Works from an outline. What I do when I build an outline is find focal important scenes and build in my head. Don't write them yet, but I build towards them. Okay. So the general sort of outline of the book. It's not details first. A lot of alpha readers on my books. These people that once I finish a novel, I let them look at it and give me a reader response. Yeah, okay. He's interested in how people are responding to his book. He takes that into consideration on his writing. That's interesting. The more limitations you put on the character, often the times the better the character you make them. Interesting story becomes because the character can't simply wave a hand and make something happen. They have to work within the framework. So the tension between possibilities and frameworks and rules and systems. I'm getting that interaction of extroverted intuition and introverted logic. That makes sense to me. To be fair, you can say socionics is also like that. You have many possibilities, but curtailed by the rules of the system. Um, let's see an interview. It's time for an interview. Let's see what we got here. There he is. Is he? Oh, well, how's Thunderbolts a good movie? How do I see this fully? Right.
Burgers. Wow, that would have been perfect for last week. Young men fail to find cash in a restaurant at night, so they prepare their own
He's a
burgers.
writer. He's a talkative writer. He has a YouTube channel. He likes to present about himself. He doesn't just hold himself away and write. He also goes out and talks.
Bulgaria. In Bulgaria? Not where I would guess first. So they went to get burgers and the burger place was closed, so they broke in and made their own. Is that what happened? Mm-hmm. So Kronk. The other great thing about having this spreadsheet is
He's just autographing while he's doing this. Interesting.
That was Neil Sullivan. Thank you very much for your food.
I'm intentionally blank. This time it's time to dip the toe in the pond of Marvel. Does fun show the light at the end of the tunnel for Marvel's return to form. It's another one for the scrap heap. So, yeah, so he likes the nerd culture.
All along, but they're making their own burgers. We have had
Expressive as well.
one time thief that made his own food, but that was at someone's house, right? Yeah.
Funny how he's just autographing these at the same time he's speaking. He's multitasking.
Same night. Yeah. So
He's
the
a busy
young kids
man.
are like, such a good job. We need to go back and make some more burgers. You know what would really hit this spot? I cannot get this. Oh, here's the link.
Here's some of his lectures. Let's do some of his lectures. This is law, the philosophy of professional writing. That's number 1 lecture. Okay, let's see this.
Sanderson, welcome 2025 lecture series. These are lectures that I give at my local university, Brigham Young University, about science fiction and fantasy writing. Every week, I'm going to have a new one for you.
See, this is a guy who's, I mean, the Mormon influence is very much there. You can see he's less imbalanced than, say, Asmongold is, right? He's got family, he's got community. You see, he's better realized in terms of who he is and what he's about. But you can see this is a writer who is imaginative, who explores possibilities. It's more about opening more and more opportunities, but also has logical structure to create limitations to those possibilities in his writing, to make sure it makes sense at the end of the day. It's not, and the idea that you need a hard system, you don't just make it a soft system, which has rules, which is very much introverted logic. At the same time, he's someone who clearly has embraced that sort of communal belonging, whether that's being a missionary, but also being someone who now teaches at university and has a YouTube channel showing people how he teaches university and spreading his knowledge to others.
We're doing mostly introductory material. I'm going to talk about my philosophy in teaching this class. I'm going to talk about the difference between a discovery writer and an outline writer. I'm going to talk about a lot of interesting sort of philosophy of how to approach being a writer with the eye toward being a professional, as long as
he talks about it as being a philosophy. It's not just practical steps. There's a philosophy, there's a way of thinking. He's trying to show you a way of thinking. But he's also said how he wants writing that encourages people to ask more questions rather than simply tell people how to think. So he's showing you a way of thinking, but in his writing, he also doesn't want to tell you what to think. So there's the introverted logic again, but also there's the extroverted intuition. Welcome. Our philosophy. Pro, non-pro, chef versus cook, toolbox. Some dichotomies, artistic expression versus nuts and bolts. He draws distinctions. There's lots of distinct, even in that loose outline.
So, what this class is Brandon lectures at you for approximately an hour and a half.
Self-deprecating humor.
We start this up with it being kind of a normal 218 class, how to write science fiction fantasy. The class burgeoned. It grew.
Expression.
To eventually the point that people were packing in and we had to move to a lecture hall. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing all right. So
there's a jolliness to him.
Lecture series. Now,
A lecture, okay.
Second class. I
I should have my 15, 16 this year people here who are in that class. That's the by application one only. We'll figure out what we're doing with you afterward. And the rest of you, you're welcome to apply for that class. That one's by application only. And we do it every year after this class. So what are we going to do in this class? Well, I am going to come every week and I am going to turn on a fire hose of information, right?
A fire hose of information.
You're going to try to drink some of it.
There's a lot of facts to him.
On the
But what he prefers to the facts are the imagery and the philosophy. So the facts are in the background, but what he really wants is to turn that and describe that with imagery, with philosophy, with dichotomies such as pro, non-pro, chef versus cook, nuts and bolts versus the artistic expression side. There's fun. There's communal engagement and interaction. He must be an Eiley. He must be an Eiley.
You were here last year. Nate finished a book. Nate finished the second book.
Yeah, his lectures are quite entertaining, as Chris says. Yeah, I can see.
Joking. I might make.
See, there is an intensity to him. There's a loudness, there's an entertainingness, but you see this guy. Yeah, this guy has embraced wholesomeness in his life. There's a receptiveness to introverted sensation.
And so I started checking up on him every week and embarrassing him in front of class, and he was a very good sport. So I'm happy to see you back, and congratulations. Well done. So you're back too, aren't you? Yeah, good to see you.
See, always keeping up the light, positive emotionality. You know, you could almost say it's ESC-like. So this is I like it. This is an example of an Eiley who is well developed, who has that super id well supported by his surroundings, his circumstances, and then has been able to grow into his extroverted ethics in a positive, healthy way.
Okay. Well, welcome, Al. Good to see you again.
You can kind of see you got Asmongold from before as a sort of not too healthy Eiley. Like he needs the introvert sensation in his life. He's so clearly lacking it, and this is one who has it in his life. Oh yeah, what Chris saying about about caring for his brand. Look, an Eiley will care about his brand as well. The difference is an LIE manages brand because that's good hygiene in terms of managing risks to what you want to do. An LA manages a brand because they have to manage a brand. They recognize the need to manage a brand. An ILE, they build a brand because they like to show and create their identity through their brand. It's more EIE-ish. They actually they like what they're creating and they care about what they're creating and they want people to have to take something from it in terms of how they're coming across to others. So if he's being a bit more clever about how he does that, and it's less sort of entirely off the cuff happenstance, and I might do if they're a bit lazy about this. Think, okay, how am I really going to engage with this effectively? And they build a brand properly. They're going to care a lot about what that brand is, what it means to people, what people take from it, what vibes they're giving off. So yes, and now you can definitely focus on building a brand. That is the growth into extroverted ethics. All right, I think highly. I can't see anything to contradict that. The setting out of the hard systems. This is you could say it's similar to what I do with socionics, right? It's my approach to socionics is building out the hard system of the socionics so that there is consistency. There are constraints to what something can be. It's not just a loose collection of different interpretations without anything to say, okay, but this interpretation makes sense and that one actually doesn't make sense. So he's doing a similar sort of thing in writing. And he has created an environment where he can lecture at people for large points of time. He likes being seen. He likes being watched. So I can, yeah, Iley makes a lot of sense for this person. Okay, who is next? Robert Prevost, Pope Leo the 15th. Sorry, 14th. Pope Leo the 14th. Yes, the current Pope. Fantastic. Very interesting choice, Claudia. Thank you. Thank you for the donation. All right. Now, somehow I think it's probably not going to be an ILE, but we shall see. So my impression of him at the moment, from not looking in much deeper, so it seems to me that he's been touted as both conservative and anti-conservative at the same time. He's always confounding his critics. I think is something quite clever about that. I'm not sure of how deliberate that is. Let's see. There's a big emphasis on compassion from him, but you'd expect that for someone who's heading up the Catholic Church, to be honest. Is the head of Catholic Church, sovereign of the Vatican City State, of course. The first pope to have been born in the United States. But he's not the young pope. He's not Jude Law. First to hold either US or Peruvian citizenships or both. First born after World War II. First in the Order of St. Augustine. Not that I know what that means. What does it mean to be the Order of St. Augustine? Augustine Hippo, first with some friends and afterwards as Bishop of Clovis, have monastic community life. Virtue of poverty, but of sharing their manner of life that others to imitate them. So it's not about being poor, it's about sharing what you have. Okay. So it's less ascetic, but more about compassion. Value set upon learning and science by Augustinian friars is demonstrated by the care given to their missionary work and libraries. It's interesting that's almost Augustinian sounds similar to Franciscan then. Yeah, orders for main Catholic religious orders, mainly the Augustinians, the Franciscans, yeah, the Jesuits. Augustine recollects. Okay. Hmm. Use no individuals produced by the order. Peru is where he was, wasn't it? So American bishop from General Ross as apostolic administrator diocese of Chiclayo in Peru. There's episcopal consecration on 12th of December. His name Bishop of Chiclayo. He was appointed a cardinal by Pope Francis. Okay. So he rose up under Francis. His father was a Chicago native, an educator. Later became superintendent of Brookwood School District. That's his father. Okay, his mother Mildred from Chicago, mixed race Black Creole family from Louisiana, educator and librarian. Interesting. So yes, he's okay, mixed race background. There's Rob to his family, Bob to parents are practicing Catholic available in the parish, catechist, teacher of the faith. Okay. University. Only 13 students in class to graduate. well liked and highly intelligent, a reputation for helping other students as a tutor. So again, that compassion, helpfulness is a consistent factor. He's likable. He's not doesn't need to be a controversial figure who struggles with relationship. I mean, look, you have to be well liked to make your way to being a pope anyway. Let's see. Politically committed to missionary work, being the most community-minded among. Yeah. Okay. Spent a decade heading the Augustinian seminary, teaching canon law in the diocesan seminary. Fujimurato era. Right. Criticized the actions of then President Alberto Fujimori, placing special emphasis on the victims of the Peruvian army. So he also speaks out and is critical about things. There's a certain amount of courage there. So that the defender of human rights of the population against the violence of a Marxist, Leninist, Maoist guerrilla organization, Shining Path. So he's not a communist himself. He's not a Marxist Leninist. But the close bond of the Diocese of Chiclayo, directing a special message to them. His first message is beloved diocese, faithful people, faithful church, very faithful to church's social doctrine, and organize relief efforts to the calamities. This is in Spanish.
Autoridades por casos específicos que encontré en algunos de los centros poblados de Cañaris cuando estuve ahí la semana pasada, de situaciones donde los niños no estaban recibiendo la atención médica que necesitan. Y es importante que ahí también que las autoridades de los varios sectores, quizás que nos reunamos o que miremos cómo ayudar a estos pueblos, ¿no? Justo en este mes he estado un buen tiempo en Incahuasi, también en Cañares, en varios sectores, y se ve de verdad el retraso, cuánto les está, cuánto sufrimiento está causando, ¿no? Esta situación de pobreza extrema. Y creo que como iglesia, como sociedad,
¿Fueron olvidados estos distritos, monseñor?
Olvidados, dejados de lado en un sentido. Si veo que más en Incahuasi hay algunas obras que se están realizando, de hecho, que ayudará por lo menos en cuestión de transporte y comunicaciones, pero el sector educación,
Very vulnerable teachers.
Hay otros que no tanto, pero creo que en todo caso tenemos que seguir fortaleciendo la presencia de iglesia, Estado, autoridades en estos sectores para ayudar a las personas a salir de esa pobreza extrema.
I mean, look, the key aspect of at least his image is one of empathy for people who need support, charitable endeavors through the church. Written works. Gives a focus on mission. The writings of the provost before his election were few. Yeah, he's focused on mission, going out and helping people. The main work of scholarship is his doctoral dissertation, The Office and Authority of a Local Prior in the Order of St. Augustine, published by Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas, 1987. Noted for its legal precision, Augustinian roots, post-conciliar engagement, and historical depth. What does that mean? Recent ecumenical council of the Catholic Church. Right. It's a window to his vision of a church and theology leadership. I'd be interested to know what exactly that is about. But leadership is a role of service and fraternal love, not power. Authority is about communion and common good. Trying to set aside self-interest. So that's also very, again, very consistent with him. This sort of selflessness, helping other people, the servant of God's will, and a communal responsibility. The prior's authority is exercised through teaching, sanctification, and governance, centered on the community spiritual life, original Augustinian conception of love for God and conformity to Christ. Not power, but service, prioritizing the community, authority and service. It's also why the mission is the key emphasis for him. He's going out and doing good acts for people. He is not. He can do the intellectual stuff, but that's not the key focus for him. You compare this to Pope Benedict, who I'd say is far more intellectually oriented, first and foremost. Mutual respect for the diverse contribution of each member, shared discernment, development of God's will is not reserved for the superior alone, but is shared responsibility within the community, teaching, sanctification, governance, Augustinian spirituality, the Augustinian framework emphasizes an inward work of grace, the primacy of love for God. Right. Okay. Yeah. His thesis, he sees that authority is received from above, and therefore the substance of the office of a superior is to obey the will of God, put great effort in trying to know it, to formulate it, and to specify it for his subjects. Which is based on teaching, sanctifying, governing. Authority as a service. Service means listening to what the Spirit is saying. There's people, so it's body we have will freedom. So it's very almost anti-hierarchical. It's the idea that no, you are serving the people whom you lead. It's servant leadership. The dark horse, why? Proposed to be an ally of Pope Francis, a possible compromise candidate, is American nationality regarded as a potential stumbling block, affecting unease about enhancing the United States geopolitical power. He was aware of this, explained to a friend by text, I'm American, I can't be elected. Was argued that he represented a dignified middle of the road. He wear the traditional papal stole and mozzetta. Nothing. Francis, I think, broke from tradition in a number of ways. Francis was very distinctly left wing, and progressive for a pope. Whereas Leo, it seems to me, is someone who combines service-based compassion, doing nice things, serving others, etc., but also has an attention to traditionalism at the same time. And those two things sort of balanced and harmonized in him. Early acts. So early acts. So he nominated obviously bishop approved by Chinese authorities. Fuzhou, right. Revived papal practice of taking summer residence at the. So he's reviving old practices. Well, what's one example? Are there any others? Let's see. Views. His renewal name was chosen in honor of Pope Leo the 13th. His encyclical Rerum Novarum. Working class. Yeah, okay. Modern Catholic social teaching. Yeah, social teaching, labor rights. Okay. He's not economically right wing, but he is sort of soft left, you could say, with traditionalism, it seems to me. Everyone, the treasury of her social teachings wants another industrial revolution. And develops the field of artificial intelligence, develops new challenges for the defense of human dignity, justice, and labor. It's just need for prudence, responsibility, and using social media to preclude fueling divisions and controversy, doing damage to the community of a church. He tends to speak with caution and great deliberation. He's not impulsive. We see here he tends to focus on conformity with compassion. Ordination of women is very significant in the long tradition of church, but it's impossible because they're women's priests. So the tradition is something that's been spelled out very clearly. So the possibility of women deacons has been the subject of that two Vatican commissions, demonstrating openness to solid consideration to that question. And in a way, I'm thinking, okay, this person is coming across to me as more likely than not an alpha. But which sort of alpha? Because Francis, I think, was in the ESE. Very expressive, I think very open to new ideas and being more progressive. Whereas I see the compassion and desire to help others and care for people's conditions, which I think is very common for Alpha SF, is being moderated by a certain amount of structure and a certain amount of um, a lack of sort of boldly moving forwards in new ideas. Take things a bit more slowly, do things a bit more traditionally. A vocal proponent of synodality, the process of fraternal collaboration and discernment that body that the Son and Bishop was created to express. On Pope Francis' signature initiatives, that the participation co-responsibility of all faithful could address the polarization in the church. Right. So people getting together and building peace and not dividing each other. Again, it's very alpha oriented and horizontal thinking rather than vertical thinking. He doesn't present himself as above other people. He's there to serve as a leader. The Holy Spirit is pushing us towards a renewal. He stated about all the faithful are called to the great responsive living, what he calls a new attitude, to listen first of all to the Holy Spirit, towards the asking of the church. Was described as an impeccable dresser. In full vestment, even when some temperatures rose above 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Goodness. Very obedient in liturgical matters, as literally prepared in the best way possible. So there's very precision, sticking to the particular structures that are expected and very dutiful. It'll be prepared in the best way possible, very earnest in how he does things. Do a papal ferule ceremonial staff made of Benedict XVI, seldom by Francis. I think that there's a certain, potentially a slightly pedantic tendency here to stick to this is how it's meant to go. This is how it's meant to fit. So you need to do it in this particular way. So the open flowing compassion, the nice way of focusing things, the creating of peace and stability, but also a certain no, it needs to be done this way. It can only be done this way, which is suggests, it makes sense for sort of introverted logic potentially as that mobilizing function. I know someone might say, well, if he's an SCI, why is he dressing, in full vestments when the summer temperatures are rising above 85 degrees Fahrenheit, about 29 degrees? Okay, it's quite hot. 29 degrees, okay, it's not terribly hot. It's not awfully hot. It's still manageable, but it's very warm. It's very warm. That's 29 degrees, not, it's not sweltering, above 30, like 32, 33, that's sweltering in terms of Celsius. So, I wouldn't, that sounds, it's not it's not actually extreme. It's not. Um, Moderate or centrist, neither liberal nor conservative. Yeah. Everything's smooth and down the middle with him. Golden mean. Cosmopolitan and shy figure who's appreciated by conservatives and progressives in the church. He opposes abortion, euthanasia, same-sex marriage, death penalty. Yeah, he sticks to the official positions. Sympathy for beliefs that perhaps contradict the gospel, but don't fully endorse, reject. Yeah. He's compassionate, but he doesn't stray from the traditional line of thinking. Criticized pop culture sympathy for the homosexual lifestyle and same-sex families. He opposed the inclusion of gender ideology. Yeah, he's socially conservative. And this kind of balance you see of sort of compassionate language focusing on, the well-being of people without opening up too much to alternative ways of thinking, of rewriting things, but sticking to the to what's already established and settled. It makes sense as an SCI. Considers the advocate against armed conflict. Yeah, he doesn't like war, of course. Let's see what his quotes are. Personal life, hang on. In addition to his native English, he speaks multiple languages. He learned a little of one of the Quechua language. Yeah, that's the sort of indigenous Peruvians. He's described himself as quite the amateur tennis player. First, he writes his own emails and wears a smartwatch. Well, that's not his personality. That's because he's the first to be born after the Second World War. Um, he enjoyed driving recreationally throughout his life. He preferred driving long distances for journeys where most people prefer to fly. He repaired cars himself as a bishop in Chiclayo. There's sort of a down-to-earthness to him. He goes 2, 3 times a week to a gym for an hour with a workout plan designed for men aged 50 to 55 in posture and cardiovascular health. Always being astounding, being positive about everything. I mean, I think, SEI is kind of making sense from what I can see here. It's very balanced, very middle of the way. It's instinctually socially conservative, a certain amount of pedantry in making sure things are done exactly right and exactly the way in which it needs to be. It needs to be based on the structures which he understands. Um, that there is that sort of likable positivity, the need to smooth things over and create harmony is very, very clear here. Let's see if there's. Let's see what else there is. Let's see any quotes. So the amount of care, not impulsive, in what decisions he's making. Hang on. There we go. I'm not going to go on ChatGPT for that. 14, 50 notable remarks. 50 of them. About in troubled world, the host boat seeks to walk together in unity, bringing it all together. Unity. It's very important here. Unity, peace, harmony. Cries out for peace. Evangelization, not our attempt to conquer the world, but the infinite grace it rates from lives transformed by the kingdom of God. Okay. Close to my heart, referenced by the words of Augustine. In him we are one. Unity again. So dwell in us, and our life will become a temple of God. Love enlightens our influence the way we think and act. It's a motive of the way he speaks. It's not over the top. If you deny the love is generated by us, by betraying, we become unfaithful to ourselves, when we truly lose the meaning of our coming to the world. Exclude ourselves in salvation. Right, it's not fair. Okay. This is very overtly Catholic. It's a Catholic site. So if anything else. This is again Catholic book. Interesting. Fake quotes easy to tweet, truth hard to live. No, he didn't say that. Right. Marked by loneliness, division, spiritual confusion. Quote from his first ever speech as Pope is meant to comfort. Was it even today there are many settings in which Christian faith is considered absurd, meant for weak and unintelligent settings where other securities prefer technology, money, power, or pleasure. Yeah. His brothers be forced to flee their because of war persecution. native lands were also going to reach the West state of religious identity as a result of the passing generation to process heritage with Eastern churches being lost. Yeah. So the idea of heritage, the idea that, there are things here to protect. The social conservatism is coming through more here. Concerning vocation. Okay, it's not actually a very useful site for me. Maybe you see something of him in English. Be interested to see that. Oh,
Strong ideological views that can be present on that issue. How is that something you plan to address?
Well, I don't have a plan at the moment. I was asked about that already a couple of times during these first couple of months about the LGBT issue. What are you going to say? I recall something that a cardinal from the eastern part of the world said to me something before I was Pope about the Western world is fixated, obsessed with sexuality, so that a person's identity for some people is all about sexual identity, and for many people in other parts of the world, that's not a primary issue in terms of how we should deal with one another. So that's I confess that it's on the back of my mind because, as we'll see that this said, that any issue dealing with the LGBTQ kinds of questions, that also is highly polarizing within the church. And for now, because of what I've already tried to demonstrate and live out in terms of my understanding of being whole at this time in history, I'm trying not to continue to polarize, promote polarization in the church.
Careful in his language, understandably.
Trying to say what Francis
Doesn't want to polarize, doesn't want to upset anyone. Everyone's invited in. But he's not going to compromise on his thinking.
Let's get to know one another, respect one another. And at some point, when specific questions will come up, I mean, obviously at some point, people want doctrine to change, want attitudes to change. I think we have to change attitudes before we ever change doctrine. I find it highly unlikely in certainly the immediate future that the church doctrine in terms of what the church teaches about sexuality, what the church teaches about marriage. I've already spoken about marriage. As Pope Francis, when he spoke about a family being a man and a woman in solemn commitment, less than the sacrament of marriage. But even to say that, I understand that some people will take badly, and along in Europe, they are already publishing rituals of blessing people who love one another, so that they express it, and which goes specifically against the doctrine that Pope Francis approved, which is obedience, which basically says, of course, you can bless all people.
So he points out where something goes against something else, it contradicts something else. There's a technical understanding here. Yep.
People make choices in their life and respect them.
Yep. So he values extrovert intuition. It's there. Doesn't want to inflame.
The individuals will be accepted and received any priest who's ever heard confessions. Will have heard confessions from all kinds of people, all kinds of issues, all kinds of states of life and choices that we made. But I think that the church is teaching will continue as it is, and that's what I have to say about that for right now. Very important. Families need to be supported. They call it the traditional family. The family is father and mother. I think that
Yeah, socially conservative. I mean,
the
he's a pope being a pope. He's a pope. He's not making bold progressive waves in the way that Francis was doing.
The question about polarization and how people treat one another doesn't also come from situations where people did not grow up in the context of a family where we learn, that's the first place you learn how to love one another, how to live with one another, how to tolerate one another, and how to form the bonds of communion. It's the family. If you take away that basic building block, it becomes very difficult to learn the ways. So I think there are some very key elements in it to be.
Who are you? Okay, that's interesting. What's this?
So the first question, just to get started, is about you, of course. So you are two things at once. You are the first pope from the United States, but you're also the second pope with the perspective, if you will, of Latin America. Which of those do you feel more? Do you identify with more? Do you feel more American? Do you feel more Latin American?
I think the answer is both and. One of the things that has come out in a number of articles that have been published is journalists and others trying to
Both and. Doesn't want to cut off one way of identifying. He wants to keep that open.
Even the studies that have done
Doesn't want to over define it and limit it.
And there seems to be something someone said to me recently between the family of all the different nationalities, including my brother's just got a book that was published in France talking about the African roots, which there apparently are, and French and Italian and Spanish and Cuban and Haitian.
Yeah, this is the sort of Creole background.
And along with my experience, especially as prior general, getting to know the church around the world, has given me, I think, a really
See, his style of speaking is very soft, a little bit sleepy.
wealth of
It's sort of soft, mollifying. You can't get angry with that voice. You could get a bit sleepy with that voice.
love very much the role of the group of people. And so that is a part of who I am. Half of my ministerial life was spent in Peru. So the Latin American perspective is very valuable to me. And
Very valuable.
I think comes out also in an appreciation that I have.
It's another thing. People are suggesting he might be EII. Like, you can see the extroverted ethics mindfulness is on full display here. He is not a contrarian type. He's an obstinate type. His ethics is flexible. You can see, okay, I need to make sure this comes across the way which is expected of me in this role. I need to make sure that I'm saying I don't want to offend that group by saying I'm more like this or more like that. I need to give voice to both and make sure that's okay. So yeah, you can see creative extroverted ethics. It's used well. It's an area of strength for him. He hasn't been putting a foot wrong in terms of his extrovert ethics. He hasn't made big mistakes here, and he's been very, very well liked. So I think extroverted is strong, but I think it's also flexible. And looking at the emphasis of it in some of his quotes, which we identify, I think it also is valued. So yeah, I think EII wouldn't make sense because extrovert ethics wouldn't be valued and the ethics would be stubborn in terms of introverted ethics. We're not seeing much actual introverted ethics front and center. There isn't that sense of how do I feel towards this thing at the expense of it being palatable to others. Um, so yeah, no, I think that this guy has a good political understanding of how to communicate, which in EII would almost deliberately reject in their approach. They'd be super sincere. He's warm, he's compassionate. There is sincerity to him, but he's not super sincere at the expense of the demands of extroverted ethics, which he is conforming to a lot.
From Latin America, which I believe was significant in both my connection with Pope Francis, my understanding of some of the.
And it makes sense that Pope Francis would like him. A mirror relationship makes a total sense in how Francis would see him as a safe successor to him, even while he's actually quite a bit more socially conservative than Pope Francis was.
This is John's question, but I promised him I would ask because he said there's more
But
telling.
you could almost say if you were to somehow combine Francis and Benedict, so if you'd mix them together, you would probably get like the best of both. Probably is Pope Leo, from what I can see here.
Good question, probably Peru, and just because of affective bonds, if you will. There was a case some years ago, because I'm also a big fan of Italy. In World Cup, I would follow three teams generally, as you mentioned too, and Italy would one. So if they qualify.
Just a reminder, if anyone wants me to type anyone else, please remember I'm accepting $20 minimum donations for me to type someone. So yeah, please feel free to make a donation if you'd like me to type anyone else, and I'll be able to move on to doing them. In the meantime, I'm going to continue looking at Robert Prevost and seeing what else we can discover.
That's big. Also, Peru's case, there hasn't been an issue recently. So I followed the World Cup. So even when people on the White Sox fan, and I sort of said, well, Robert Friedels was a White Sox fan, but it's fault I'm a fan of all the teams. So I'm a fan of the Rome soccer team, but when the Naples team came after they had won the Scudetto, I'm obviously encouraging them.
See, he's open to the fact that he is politically sensitive, that he needs to as a pope.
We learned, even in sports, to have sort of an open, kind of a dialogical, friendly and not angry, competitive stance and things like that, because we might not have gotten dinner.
That's very wholesome, although I'm glad we have it on the record that you like Roma from Lazio.
That's not Lazio.
Yeah. See,
Esteticura.
what I've seen so far of Pope Leo the 14th, I think SCI makes the most sense for him, to be honest. I haven't seen anything to contradict that. I mean, okay, the being dressed in the proper vestments, even when it's quite hot at 29 degrees, it's not sweltering 29. But I can see how that would be potentially could be uncomfortable. I think SEIs, if they think you need to do these things to not let people down, that's almost expected of you, they will most likely conform to that. And if that is a structure they've taken on, they can be quite pedantic around that as well. They'd almost be more uncomfortable in falling short than they would be simply being a bit hot. Whereas I'd say you take an SLI, yeah, now an SLI would, yeah, they wouldn't wear the full vestments. If it's just yeah, it's too hot. They'll say that that's impractical. Why am I doing this? And they'll not think about how that might be perceived by others. And they will be more pragmatic and not so rigid to the structure of what is it of what a pope is meant to do. I say pope, it wasn't quite a pope, it was a cardinal, whatever that official figure in the church he was beforehand was meant to do. Hmm. Let's see what comments there are while I'm waiting. Andres asked, "Have I typed Kurt Cobain?" Um, my impression of Kurt is probably an IEI. I could look into it in more detail for you, though, if you'd like. Could Annihilae, is from Claudia, X was it? Could Annihilae be pushed or persuaded to tidying up? Yes. Yes, they can. But they need someone to push and persuade them to do it. That's the thing. They are Annihilae is a determined type, not an exacting type. So yeah, if someone is putting that kind of pressure on them to actually tidy things up, they will respond to that. That's the point. Oh, I think we got a new donation. It's from Shelley. Thank you very much, Shelley. What does it say though? Because my thing is, hang on, I'm just gonna dot so I can actually see what it actually says. It's not letting me do it. Oh, Shelley just made a donation. That's very kind of you, Shelley. Who would you like me to type though? Who would you like me to type? I can't see a name here. Can you do Aurora? I will look up Aurora. I don't know who that is yet. Do you mean Sleeping Beauty? I know because I was going through the musical book of Sleeping Beauty with my son before I put him to bed, and he was enjoying that book. So of course we're talking about Aurora. And let's see. Aurora. Ah, here we go. Is this the one? The singer? Aurora Axnis? Okay. No, I did a dot thing just because it was hidden by something else. I need to move the comment up so I could actually see what you written. That's why I did the dot thing. It wasn't responding to what you'd said. Okay. Aurora, yep, that's it. Okay, perfect. Good. I'll look into Aurora. Aurora Axis. Thank you very much, Shelley. Known mononymously as Aurora, yep, is a Norwegian singer, songwriter, record producer, born in Stavanger, raised in Hol and Os. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, the Norwegian place names. So my apologies to any Norwegians. She started writing songs and learning dance at age 6. Okay, her ethereal soundscapes brought her widespread acclaim. I mean, I'm already getting the sense, is this going to be an IEI? We'll have to see. The Fairy of Pop. Okay. Was getting recognition as a teenager, quickly emerging one of the country's most notable pop acts. Host David Studio out of All My Demons greeting me as a friend. I'm getting beta and F vibes. Received genuinely positive reviews. Known for blending electropop, folk, and art pop, she describes the pioneer of the Norwegian art pop scene. And she trained on piano. She expanded the musical involvement to include percussion and production. Yeah, born 1996. Childhood home in Drang as a quiet, car-free area with abundant trees and poor internet connectivity. Sounds very Norwegian. Goes around by nature. She identifies as a forest person, enjoying activities like climbing trees and valuing the isolation and safety of her environment. She worries she might face bullying due to her eccentric personality and distinctive style of dress. There were solitary moments in forests, which she credited with helping her philosophize and discover her own mind. She was uncomfortable with physical affection, had an unusual hobby of collecting dead insects, such as moths. Yeah. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards AI here. The loss of a friend from a sign language class in the car accident. Two friends, one to suicide from the massacre. Goodness, deeply affected her. Of course it did. Goodness gracious. She kept her music private, as her parents did not encourage it as a career or hobby. She also explored other ambitions, including being a doctor, physicist, dancer. Her dislike of her own voice initially deterred her from considering a serious. This is a shy, perhaps typically withdrawn person, deeply reflective, philosophical, ethereal in her style. There's a certain darkness as well. It's like it's all my demons greeting me as a friend. Goodness, like she's one of those moths sort of pinned for someone to examine. Bit of psychology there in the moth as well. Butterfly. The live performance at high schools, leaving ceremonies, recording of the song Puppet, uploaded online, quickly discovered by a representative Norwegian management agency. Murder song, Running with Wolves. Wonder how much it's to do with the trauma of a massacre. 2015, this was released. When was that massacre again? Let me check. 2011. Okay, so 4 years. 4 years earlier. Okay. All means greetings a friend. Running with Wolves was an early one. Infections of a different kind. Yeah, there's something, this it isn't wholesome stuff. It's slightly unnerving. There's a darkness through the eyes of a child. Conqueror. Let's see what these mean. Was the key one is begging to go home. The only place where she belongs. It's the only place left to go. Poppy, playful, music upbeat with catchy percussive beat. Conqueror. Written by Aurora. She writes her own songs. Isolate atmospheric ballads showcase a lovely piano and voice. Let's listen to some of her music. Let's get a sense of this. Right. And we'll play Conqueror as well. Let's try If You Eyes of a Child. Oh, it was in adolescence. Interesting.
World is calm by our train. Scars we cover with pain. Watch them preach in our lives. I would rather see this world through the eyes of a child.
Yeah, so introversion sensing is there. I don't think it's the valued focus.
Darker times.
It's peace and calm as escape, rather than the wholesome stability for the sake of the wholesome stability. And you see the thematic elements in her music is also key here. I can see what you mean by ethereal. There's a calm, ethereal nature to her songs. It's not intense. But there's a darkness in her song. She doesn't just focus on. It's not feel good. It's not feel good, but it is sort of calm and reflective. It's quiet now. Oh, there we go. Slow, languid music, this one. Let's see what Conqueror's like. Oh, it's actually got a video. Okay, excellent.
Mornings, broken nights, and broken days in between.
Goodness. She's shackled at the ankles.
The sky is open, makes an open sing. Oh, oh, just like in fiction, every addiction. Fantasy's taking over, awake me.
Okay, this is more upbeat.
Broken and broken, then you are broken too. Open is their eyes are open, makes me call for you. Oh, oh, but it's not seduction, only destruction. Oh,
The breakthrough. Yeah. Breaking free from one's shackles. Sort of a breaking free from a kind of oppression is a theme here. Mhm. Even when it's upbeat, it's reflective. There's a certain navel-gazing quality to it about her deep emotional transformations. Okay. Let's see if there's any other stuff here. Maybe some of her more recent music. Different kind. Gods we can touch. Happen to the heart. The gods we can touch. Again, this isn't grounded. There's something higher or greater she's talking about. Demons, gods. The lyrical themes are heavily inspired by Greek mythology, as Abraham, ancient Roman religions. The lyrical writing is described as dark and disturbing with maximal introspective style. Talk about self-empowerment, abuse, heartbreak, morality, desire. Yeah, these are sort of the raw, authentic expression of deep-seated emotional needs and fears and transformations, and at the same time drawing of themes of mythology and AI is making more sense. Let's see an interview of her. Let's see an interview.
The first time you did like a version in January 2017 was very successful. It's one of our most successful, in fact. You did Mass Attack. Yeah, it's got like nearly 6.6 million views.
it does?
Yeah.
Huh.
I was going to round up to 7, but
Oh yeah, I can move that thing just in the way. And I can see what people are saying on the bottom.
Self?
What did I watch?
The video.
Me? Oh no,
No?
I haven't watched it once.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You could have got it to 7.
I just have I just have better things to do with my time than to watch myself sing.
Fair enough.
You know, and yeah.
What other things are you doing?
Well, I like to paint. I like to read books and cook and masturbate and all of those stuff.
All sounds like it's a regular night.
Goodness.
Those things.
Yeah. Very ethereal.
So what do you mean?
So, and also, I mean, in 2 years, a lot's changed since then. I mean, you have an album now.
Some recent songs are in town. I'll look at some of the recent songs, Shelley. Good idea.
Got an apartment.
Oh.
I don't know if you care. Oh, you care
Yeah,
about
yeah,
this.
cool.
Yes, I have my own little house, 2 bedrooms, and I've just bought a new bookshelf which smells amazing. It's made of wood from my childhood area.
From her childhood area.
It's called in English, but it's very grey in the color. It's very beautiful, very soft for the eyes. So it makes me very happy, that shelf. I have tea in it and books. It really makes me happy. So I can't wait to get home.
Did you see the introvert sensation in there?
I'm very creative.
Got some paint on your eyes. Is that a bit of wall paint you've got going on?
Yeah, it is kind of.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for showing your inner emotions on the outside, like the tears and the smile wrinkles that I like so much. It's so cool when people get them.
Showing her inner emotions on the outside. Mm.
From?
It's basically what her songs are.
Sister, she's a makeup artist, so she gave me this lipstick.
Oh, lipstick.
And I put it on my face. And sometimes it goes all over the place, and I look like I have this rash, which is also kind of nice, but not as cool as.
There's a lot of softness in the way she comes across. There's no hardness in how she comes across. I don't see much in the way of extroverted sensation.
I love them, but I get like a tiny.
Except
rash
in the themes themselves.
of them. Like, goodness.
I think it's valued but very weak.
Your throat starts closing up, then I'd say
Yeah,
stay away from
yeah, I would say also stay away from. Yeah.
You played Groove in the Mood in the country in April. How was regional Australia?
I find all of Australia incredibly beautiful.
And people saying SEI, IEIs do this as well. They'll pay attention to textures and other things. But why is she like this? Because it is wood from a place of her childhood. It's nostalgia that drives her, rather than the sensory experience for the sake of the sensory experience.
Yes, I'm always right. We were driving a lot around in our car, so I really got to see a lot of the changing scenery, and it was really beautiful.
Did you see any birds in Canberra? There's a lot of dawars.
I saw a lot of birds, and one bird really frightened me. It was quite huge, looked like a crow, quite dark in its feathers. And it made this sound, which sounded like a little boy shouting, "Wah!" Like it was really, really weird.
Haunting.
And it was quite haunting. I've been struggling with sleep since then.
Was it a magpie?
I don't know. Is that a bird?
Black bird with white, had a bit of white on it.
No.
Could have actually been a small boy as well. If it sounded like one.
It might be. I do feel like children and birds look very alike because they're all like
Little.
below.
You weren't at the supermarket, Mia. It wasn't like a lost child.
Children and birds look alike, goodness.
Okay, I was going to buy. I like this movie called Trolls because it has a lot of colors and it's very psychedelic. And in the food store, they had these small toys with trolls characters in them. And trolls is a Norwegian thing, so we had them when we were small.
Yep.
And so I went in to buy those, and then on my way there, outside the store, I heard the bird boy called for help.
Here in Australia, we've got yowies. They're like
Yowies.
little colourful animals.
That's sweet.
Not really. I don't know what yowies are, man. Getting a bit off track. So
I don't think IE makes much, if any, sense, to be honest. I'm not sure why IE would be. But there's no extroverted logic to this person. There's no, isn't it? I mean, is there introverted logic? That's a good question. Hmm. There are themes. Let's see some of the more recent songs. I mean, you can see the extroverted ethics is subtle. It's not in your face. It is slightly provocative. To the heart's most recent stuff. In April 2022, I read a letter written by Indigenous activists. And We Are the Earth, according to the magazine Line Best Fit, changed her life. Called her a revolution, a collective response to global warming. They described that as the heart that pulsates within us. So they led the world to create the album's title and concept. Okay. So a political cause sort of motivated her in this. It's pretty beta. What happened to the heart? What happened to the earth? The ongoing fifth concert tour, sport of official. What happened to the heart? Some type of skin? Oh, conflict of the mind. Your blood. Your blood, goodness. Let's listen to Your Blood. What else is there? Let's see. A soul with no king? Some type of skin. Let's try some type of skin. The blade. I'll do the blade. Fine. Aurora. Let's see the blade. Goodness. Blood, blade. Some type of skin. Some themes. Okay. Nature, yeah, personal struggle. We talk about growth, empowerment, social environmental justice. Metaphors like the season in different stages of life and emotion, from bleakness of winter to explosive energy of summer. Escapism. It's a key thing for her is escapism. And nature as a form. Nature is a means of escapism. Um, Many songs address yeah, love, overcoming hardship, understandably, often connecting to sort of a place of a natural world. Yeah, the key thing is that there are deeper themes of beta and F, but she reaches introverted sensation a lot because extroverted sensation is not immediately accessible to her in a way which an EIE might reach to it more. You compare it to someone like Lady Gaga, I'd say is EIE, where the extrovert sensation is more clear in her song, and the introvert sensation is really, really lacking, where everything is sort of without that central quality, and it's more about the themes, it's more about the drama, it's more about the intensity. But yeah, no, I think Aurora's very. If you compare Aurora to someone like Kate Bush, right? You'll see what I mean. It's very similar. You think it's very much the same ethereal style. And so Kate Bush is different. She's less cause. Kate Bush is almost less beta-ish, in fact, she's less cause oriented, and she's just more about the themes for the sake of the themes. I mean, I don't think Kate Bush explored the sort of traumatic experiences as much, but she's still very much into the themes and expression of those deeper themes. But yeah, there are a lot of similarities in terms of that style of singing. And also, I'll use Babush as an example of more energy in an II. And it's also got, it starts again with a languid singing and the sort of slow, ethereal quality, but then it bursts. So very, very similar. Very similar, sort of burst into energy following the more sort of languid, more ethereal style of singing. So yeah, I'm definitely within the similar sort of benchmark, I say, for an AI. We're looking at Aurora. Let's look at some of Aurora's quotes as well. This is really big because I'm going to experience something divine. Scared to be everywhere else for a long time. I always feel I'm safe at home near my family. Extreme sport to be a human. Breaking down walls between yourself and the audience, being a good role model. I fancy an angel, but I'm not an angel. I'm just a normal person who likes music. I want to be a good role model. Okay, I don't like not saying anything. I don't like having a wall between me and the audience. I want to break down that wall, communicate with people in the room. It can be scary to be everywhere else. Long time I feel I'm safe at home. Yeah. Low extroverted sensation. She does feel quite vulnerable in a physical space. She's sort of someone who would benefit from a protector like figure. Human beings, such strange beings that still makes me laugh. I've been burnt probably if I lived 400 years ago. When it's being burnt today for just being who they are. Yeah. Sometimes surviving is enough, and if you make it to your bed at the end of the day, you've been a successful human being. Right. Okay. I don't think an SEI would say, if I lived 400 years ago, I would have been burnt. Loves to be alone. The child especially go outside. So detaching, escaping is a natural thing for her to do. She likes detach. She doesn't want to be present and involved in what people are doing. She likes creating distance and separateness from the bustle of life. Because very quite normal for introverted intuition. I wonder who's being burnt today for just being who we are. So authentic expression is important to her. And seeing and thinking about oppression of those who authentically express. You can see hints at the ideology behind her and her way of thinking about a worldview. Punchers being themselves, same sort of theme there. Noise and quiet, soft and hard, light and dark. Always want breath, air. Mm. Hmm. All right. So, is anyone else people want me to type? Again, people who just made it haven't seen my sessions before. I'll take minimum of $20 donation in order to type someone. So yeah, if anyone wants me to type anyone else, please make a donation. I'll be very grateful, and I'll type that person. I mean, I'm gonna look at some of the comments here. Maybe I should spend time just showing some What was Jared said? Jack's not as big on interviews as CSJ. At least he takes his time more. That's because what Chase does is he has a sort of glossary of certain keywords, and he uses the interviews to find the keywords, and he types people based on those keywords. I don't do that. I don't do keyword typology. I look at what drives someone, what the themes are, how they like to think. That's why I take longer. I'm not. He just looks at the keywords and thinks that the use of certain keywords means a certain type, and I'm not as reductive as that. That's why. People saying, "Can you type Toby Maguire?" Yep. If you make a $20 donation, I'd be happy to type Toby Maguire. Let's see. What you want going to do? In the meantime, I'm going to look at some of the EIE musicians just to see some of the differences there. Let's look at Lady Gaga first. How about we can do Bad Romance. Style. Also there. Life of Mars. We'll try Life of Mars. That's also Ziggy Stardust, to be fair, isn't it? Let's see if there's anything else. What was his last song? Is it Black Star? I think that's like right at the end. Very unnerving, Black Star. This is also very sort of ethereal in a very creepy way. Lazarus? Lazarus, maybe. Let's do that one. No, it's the same one. Similar. Oh, very, very creepy. David Bowie's songs. Is that one is? This is for David Bowie? Yeah.
I could do that.
Very, very experimental, Bowie. He tries lots of different things. Tried lots of different things. There's an eclecticness as well, which comes in with more extrovert intuition. Michael Jackson. I think I for Michael Jackson. Now he's someone who brings actually quite a bit of energy on stage. But again, the retreat aspect of Neverland is also very clear to him.
People.
Freddie Mercury is another good example.
Just in case. Walking down.
Freddie Mercury, 1970s. Right. Oh, MJ is not Michael Jackson, it's Mick Jagger. I see. Gotcha. All right. I'll wait another minute. Ethereal E. Well, I mean, David Bowie, I say, is kind of ethereal. Yeah, he actually places more emphasis on the on the etherealness than he does on sort of the sort of more visceral side. But I say it's more like an EIE because the sheer amount of different ideas he brings into his work and how experimental he is. The fact he's able to transform and reinvent himself so many times. And that there is sort of there are examples from his life of being attracted to more intense environments and yeah, let's see. Yeah, there's a sort of more of a delicacy which Bowie conveys compared to say Freddie Mercury or Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga clearly bases herself more on sort of Freddie Mercury. Yeah, exactly. If I think the thing with David Bowie, he was a lot more in his demonstrative function than he was in his mobilizing function. I think someone like Freddie Mercury leaned more into his mobilizing function. All right. I think it might be time to wrap up. Okay? Thank you everyone for tuning in. And yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back next week. Let's check. I will definitely be back next week. Yep, I'll definitely be back next week. Hmm. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Thank you for the donations as well. Greatly appreciated. All the best.